So let's look at affinity filters, which, as a quick reminder from the overview we gave earlier in the course, is pretty much about saying things like, start this new container on the same node that such and such a container is already running on, please. Or you know what? Maybe start this container on a node that already has the required image pulled locally. Right, well, again, the cluster fairies have been and cleaned the cluster, so we're back to just 2 containers on each node. And of course, we're still running spread, right? In fact, you know what? I've no intention of changing that for the entire course. Well, let's fire off another Nginx container, and we'll call it C1 for container 1. Okay, see how it's obviously pulling the image on whichever node got selected. Remember, the fairies cleaned the cluster, so local image repos were wiped clean. Right, let's see where it landed. Okay, node 1. Well, let's run that again, but this time let's throw this in. -e. This is because affinities and constraints get passed over as environment variables. Then we go affinity container equals C1, telling Swarm to, hey, go run this new container, C2, on the same node in the cluster as C1. Let it go. Let it go. Don't hold it back anymore. Yeah, never mind. Well, that was quick anyway. So signs are good that it worked. Yeah, there we go. The same node as C1. You know what? In defiance of the spread strategy. So overriding, right, the behavior that we'd expect from spread. But we can do negative affinities too. So let's go the same again. Only this time, we'll tweak this to not on the same node as C1. Oh, and we better give it a unique name here. Okay, taking a bit longer, obviously pulling the image. Well, let's see where that landed up. Bingo, this time away from C1. Well, I'll tell you what, let's run a few of those, but you know what, we need to remove the name first, just to make it easier. Okay. Right, and another look. Right, yeah, there we go. Okay, not so easy to see, but if we look closely, see how things are being spread across the 2 nodes that are not hosting C1. So what we see there, right, is affinity filters and the spread strategy working together. Yeah, overriding or filtering out the node with C1 on it, but then letting spread loose over the remaining 2 nodes. Okay. Now, what if we say, schedule a new container on the same node as C100? Huh? Well, we haven't got a C100. Yeah, that's the point. Boom. Failed. No can do. Reason being, Swarm follows a strict enforcement rule that basically says, if you're specifying an affinity and I can't meet that requirement, then I'm not going to schedule it at all. And I think that's really important for you to know. But hey, what about if you just want Swarm to make the best effort, but if it can't be done, you want it to go ahead and schedule a container anyway? Well, okay, let's pull that command back. Let's go back here, and we'll throw the tilde in. Let that one go, and I'm not going to sing this time, but there we go, right? Obviously, it couldn't match the requested affinity rule, seeing as how container C100 doesn't exist, but it went ahead and scheduled the new container anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much affinity filters. Coming up next, constraints.